Guys, did I tell you that my house got robbed? Guy stole my calendar, and boy, his day's numbered.
Oh my God.
Once he hit recording, I knew something was up.
I'm done. I retire. That's it. I'm out.
Next on the College Rugby Wrap-Up, Major League Rugby Academy teams playing college teams. Cal getting 2 wins in one day. NCR Women's All-Star Sevens tournament team. NCR All-Star Cameron Taylor. And a thriller between UCLA and Arizona. Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's College Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy in New York City, Colby Marshall in New Jersey, Zach Lanning in Maine, and Josh Rescio in San Francisco. We got the whole globe covered here, guys, pretty much, if you just consider the globe to be the United States of America. But we're going to talk a little college rugby. Why not, right? With a sprinkling of different things. We got PR7s. We got an academy team out of San Diego. But to get us off and on the right foot, let's turn to our man in San Francisco on the West Coast with a little D1A CRAA action. Josh Rescio.
I never get to go first, so this is an exciting time for me.
Thanks, Josh. Let's go over to Colby now. No, just kid. Go ahead, kid. Come on. Go ahead.
I almost had it. Well, let's start out. Let's keep it out west. So we got UCLA and Arizona. What an atmosphere we had down in Tucson. A broadcast that I might say was definitely in favor of the home crowd, but thank God that Arizona was able to put up a good performance. Down 36-22, Sean Duffy definitely was kind of looking at his squad to hopefully get something out of them at the end of the game, and they delivered. George O'Brien, scrum half, 2 tries for Arizona. UCLA just kind of kept making little mistake after little mistake, and Arizona was able to chip away at that lead, coming back and winning on a last-second try. You know, we had mentioned Arizona earlier in the season. We've mentioned UCLA a lot early so far, and this was a pretty bad game for UCLA to drop, especially with kind of the games they have coming up in their schedule with St. Mary's and that matchup again that we talk about with them and Cal. So Arizona's starting off their year really, really strong. Sean Duffy's got to be really happy. Quality performance all around, and one that was definitely good to watch. Also nice to be able to see college rugby games on a broadcast, even if it was in favor of the home crowd.
But I think it was like the players themselves of Arizona doing the broadcast or something like that, right?
It must have been. They were practically cheering every time UCLA got a penalty, so I would assume it was some of the B-side guys doing the filming.
It's almost like having Colby Marshall call Iona games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Come on, I got to get a better rep than that, Zach.
Or me doing a UB game, University of Buffalo game. It's all.
There you go. That's
come
better.
on. We are what we are. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. But there's no shame in losing to a Sean Duffy Arizona team at home, Josh.
No, and I stand by it. I've been saying it the last 2 weeks. I like UCLA, and I think before they play St. Mary's, I think it's in 2 weeks they're going to play Cal Maritime. It's going to be a good game for them to kind of put it all together. I think they're trying to learn a lot. They got some guys that maybe be struggling in some key positions so far, but I think they're very close to having some solid performances and going to be able to carry momentum into the bigger games of the season that they have later. So I still have faith in them. I don't think this is going to be too hard of a loss for them to carry. Look for UCLA to bounce back this week against Cal Maritime.
I can't believe you're calling for Harry Bennett's head this early in his regime. I mean, he just got there, guy. Just got there.
Hey, high expectations when you're coaching the UCLA Bruins.
I'll tell you, college rugby must be on the rise. If we're already calling for head, we're only kidding, Harry. We're not calling for your head. We love you. Okay, so there was Cal playing some rugby too, right?
Yeah, and before we get into Cal, which Cal can be its own segment every week, it seems. Just 2 other games I wanted to quickly call out. Oklahoma was able to take on Texas Tech and beat them 65-0. And then we also had St. Mary's beating Life West, another college club beating out a men's club, 54-27 for St. Mary's. So Tim O'Brien clearly enjoyed his interview with us and was able to carry that momentum into this week as they were able to get that win.
You got the rugby wrap-up bump, did Tim O'Brien.
Should be trademarked these days.
All right, what else? So you did have Cal, and they didn't have just one victory.
No, they had 2 victories. And let me throw out a stat here for you to start before we even say scores. 28 tries, 23 different players, 2 games. I mean, that you don't need to even know the scores yet to know that there's some big numbers that we're going to be calling out in these 2 games. So starting out with the college versus college game, Cal versus UC Santa Barbara, 66-5. Quality win throughout. I mean, props to UC Santa Barbara. I think for, the matchup that they had, they played a really solid game. Cal was obviously able to, do whatever they wanted throughout the entire game. They had Alex Bundage was reliable, going 8 for 10 on conversions. And they weren't always easy conversions, but
he missed Cal, 2.
He did miss 2. He's only 80%.
He's exhausted.
He's not legendary on the free throw percentage there, but still quality game. And then to be able to then go into the second game, which can almost be a story in itself, Cal took on San Diego Legion's U23 Academy team and put on a score that maybe not as shocking for Cal, but definitely something, we don't always see in the college rugby field. 120-0. Cal was able to beat them after going 73-0 at halftime. Tries from all over the field. Marcus Shakeland he got 12 for 12 on conversions and also had 2 tries throughout the day. It was a classic Cal game. I mean, they starved the opponent of the ball. Tim O'Brien mentioned that in your interview that St. Mary's tries to do that, just starve their opponent of the ball. And Cal did exactly that to this Legion Academy side. It was quite a game to watch, and I think definitely raises a lot of questions about, that college rugby towards academy side, which is the best way to go if you're trying to play professional rugby in the U.S.
These are new times. We have academy teams for professional clubs in America, which we've never had before. So it's kind of like a minor league team playing against Cal, which is like, the creme de la creme of college rugby. So, but 100, that's a lot of points. And that's a tremendous amount of tries. Those guys they must have been pulling hamstrings and calf muscles just sprinting up and down the pitch. But that's a good problem to manage, I would imagine. But is this a good thing? Anybody want to weigh in on this?
I mean, starting for me, I think I've loved the MLR draft that we've gotten to see, now over the last couple of years, and how that's probably Cal is always going to have superstars. Cal is always going to have people that you can consider on these MLR teams in the future. And MLR teams get so much coverage of these players that, it can be easy for them to get a good reading on them. But college programs still offer a great opportunity for people that maybe haven't even played rugby before to come on to these college campuses and get that opportunity. And now with that structure of things like the MLR draft, I think you start to see some athletes, I'll point out one who I played with at Michigan State, Mike Gieselman, who's playing over on the Utah Warriors, never played rugby before coming to college, but now here he is, he's making a huge impact down for the Warriors. And I think a lot of that has to do with the college game. So, I'm a fan of the college route for people, but, maybe that will change over the years.
I think on my University of Buffalo team in the 4 years that I played, there were maybe 2 guys that ever had any rugby experience prior to college. And, taking it one step further, there were only like 2 guys that could kick because they played some soccer in high school. But times are changing in a positive way for rugby. Colby, Zach, you guys have anything on the Legion Academy versus Cal?
Yeah, for me, I'd like to know, how the academy was coached. Obviously thinking about a team like Cal, I'm sure there are a bunch of guys that have played together for a while and, had that coaching, that coaching profile there. I'm just not sure if that was there for the academy. I don't know if it's a real reflection of the talent compared to the academy and at the college level. So I guess I just need more information to really make a judgment from that scoreline.
A wise, mature man beyond his years, Colby Marshall. How about you, Zach?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of things that go through my mind when I see the scoreline like this. I'll just say off the top, I understand the desire for MLR clubs to get their hands on young players in this country at a very young age, so that they can kind of teach them the fundamentals at a younger age and don't have to completely rebuild or build their game when they get to the pro level. As you see with a lot of pure athletes who, as you guys said, get to college and have never played the game before. Sometimes you need that knowledge of the sport and the finer points of it at a young age to be able to ascend to much higher levels of the game. But when you see a score like this, and again, I will say also that, the SD Legion Academy team has been around since 2018. That's 5 years, and Cal's been around for 138 years. So, there's a bit more of a history at the Cal level. The Cal program is much stronger. But that leads me to my point that, is that something that the MLR team should be taking into account? There's clearly a system in this country that's in place to develop talent. And you have strong historic programs like Cal and St. Mary's that are at this point 120 points better than an academy team, that could be set up. And I understand that it's going to take some time for these academy programs to develop and to have young players kind of matriculate through that system. And it definitely works in Europe, as you see a lot of young talent that is now playing in the Six Nations coming up. A lot of these guys obviously came through academy programs. But does MLR really have the time to wait for these academy programs to close that 120 point gap? Or would they rather work with these college programs, maybe start younger with high school programs and work with the existing structure that's already in place in the US, which is that talent pipeline that works for every other sport, which is youth, high school, college, the pros. I think that MLR should really consider this before they start investing a lot of money into these academy programs.
All right. Well, that was an astute, well thought out response. I'm not used to that because I don't have those. So kudos to you, my friend. But, segueing to Colby and Premiership, which is another potential pathway like an academy or actually college teams, if you're looking at the results and the scores, to a major league rugby or professional career. So this is another kind of professional code of rugby that people can tap into, and it's PR7s, Premier Rugby Sevens. Tell us about it, Colby.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. And it's got a lot of people buzzing, I have to say. As you can see, I'm wearing a nice polo that I got from Watson Filikatonga, who played for the Experts in the first Premier Rugby Sevens League back in October of last year. And now we know that there's going to be a multi-city season this year. We don't know the dates for that season, but we do know that the first open trial for that season is going to take place on February 20th in Charlotte, North Carolina. And, Premier Rugby Sevens League, it's a league sanctioned by USA Rugby. And so, like you mentioned, it's going to have, it's going to give young players pathways and a national platform that can lead to the USA Eagles and opportunities for the national team. I mean, we saw Logan Tago play for the US Sevens team over in Spain just a couple of days ago after going absolutely bonkers in the first Premier Rugby League Sevens tournament in October. And so, when you think about guys like that, Logan's only 24. He had the opportunity to play for the national team after putting on a great showing. And it's going to give a whole bunch of other players that opportunity. And so I'm really excited for what it might bring this year in 2022.
And Colby, just full disclosure, you're not the only one wearing a shirt that was given to him by someone special today. I'm wearing the Tri-State Vikings shirt from the NCR All-Star Weekend, courtesy of Dave Chapman, the head coach, who's out of Colgate, and his guy, Nick Denyer, because he had a guy to get me the T-shirt, and his guy is Nick Denyer, New York Rugby Club legend.
I like how it matches your blazer.
And it makes my eyes pop. But let's not continue on that path. Let's take a quick break and come back with Cameron Taylor.
Selling or trading in your vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. With Easy Trade, start online or visit us in store. We want your vehicle, and we'll give you up to 125% of KBB value.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Mr. Cameron Taylor to the show. And Cameron, you and I met down in Houston while you were there in the All-Star Weekend representing your college, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Yes,
is
sir.
that right? I.U.P?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
and
sir.
Aside from sustaining an injury that I basically sustained the same exact injury. My wife is from Indiana, Pennsylvania. So we had it going. We had some synergy going there, my friend. But I wanted to check in with you and see how the surgery went, how the leg is.
Yeah, the surgery went pretty well. I mean, I wanted to come back home because I obviously don't live in Houston, and we have pretty good medicine in Pittsburgh. So my coach helped me out. He advised me to a couple of doctors. He let me pick the one I wanted. And they told me, he was like, we're going to get it done. You're taken care of. So you put a plate. It was just my tibia. They put a plate and 3 screws in it. I got it braced up in a splint right now, but I feel great, honestly, because I tore my ACL. So I know what it's like to have surgery. I know what it's like to go through the process with everything. So for right now, I'm actually I'm super excited to just get the actual boot because this splint is so itchy. It's crazy. But besides that, surgery went great. I didn't have a lot of pain. It was very minimal. Not too much to complain about. And I'm excited to get back out there, to be honest.
So Cam, I want to tell people who you are actually. Your hometown is Natrona Heights, Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And you chose Indiana University of Pennsylvania, I.U.P. Indiana, Pennsylvania is the home of Jimmy Stewart and my wife. So that's 2 celebrities of sorts, right? Majoring in psychology, 2018 high school all-state all-star, 2019 state champion, 2021 all-conference flanker, and 2022 collegiate rugby all-star, where we met at the NCR All-Star games down in Houston. How long did you play before you got the injury?
In the tournament, literally 10 minutes. I got it in my first 10 minutes, and that was it.
Oh man!
It like in my mind, I'm like, oh my god! I'm playing this time. I'm excited, and first half, I'm feeling good because I like hitting. That's my aspect. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna hit you. You're gonna feel it. Second hit, I just knew I didn't even realize I broke it until I looked down at it, and it was just dangling there, and I was like, oh my goodness! This is not good.
Well, I could tell that you're going to be fine, and it was great seeing you at the dinner on Saturday night. I know it lifted up the spirits of just about everybody in that room, and it was all the teams together. Great to be part of history, even if it was only 10 minutes, and we know that we'll see you in rugby circles again. Cameron Taylor, great talking to you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. That was Cameron Taylor of I.U.P, and we'll be right back after this.
Been blind since I was 4, and I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste, and my beer's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
And we are back, but before we continue talking to rugby, guys, we have our Sheehy Auto Stores pop-up quiz of the day. And this one is going to be a little bit out of the realm of rugby. It's going to be about politics, and I want each one of you to not blurt out the answer, but we'll go around, and I'm going to ask you specifically a question. Who is the current governor of New York? Zach?
I know who it is, but I just can't remember her name.
Well, that's not good on a game show or a pop-up quiz.
Can I phone a friend?
Josh?
Even have a governor right now? I feel like you just operate on your own. All you need is one person that handles everything out of New York
Let's
City.
not filibuster. Let's answer the question.
I don't know. I have no clue.
Colby.
Kathleen Hochul.
What was the name?
Catherine Hochul.
We'll go. Judges?
Catherine Hochul.
We can accept the answer. And Colby Marshall working his way back into the standings on the Sheehy Auto Stores pop-up quiz of the day. All right, guys, we're back. We just had Cameron Taylor on. Unfortunately, he had that injury, but he's in good spirits and he's a good guy, and he'll be bouncing back because that I.U.P product. But we were also talking NCR when we took the break because I was wearing this shirt from the NCR All-Star Men's Tournament that Cam was in, and you are going to talk a little NCR Women's Sevens All-Stars.
That's right, guys. They just put out the tournament team for that tournament, the all-tournament team. So 7
How many times can you say the word tournament?
Tournament. It was a tournament of all tournaments to end all tournaments. So I just love saying that word tournament. But there were two divisions in that tournament, a D1 squad and a small college squad, as we mentioned on the last show. And I will say, if you watch that last show, you're going to hear a lot of familiar names from people that I brought up that impressed me. So are there any talent scouts, evaluators, clubs looking for anybody who has a good eye? You know, I picked out a lot of these players that they've mentioned on here. So not trying to toot my own horn, but I did a pretty good job. There were a few people I did
tooting horn sound effect.
As the editor, I'll also make sure to put that in at some point in this. So, but I will say that, you know, they're on the D1 side, 7 names. There are a couple of people that I did miss, but the first player off the top, Izzy Robinson, is someone who I did not miss, and it is difficult to miss her because she's so good on the field, so much talent that she brings to the game, and she's all over the place on the ball, creating for that team. Sofia Nieves from Middlebury College and Gabby Dispenza from St. Bonaventure are 2 players that I missed. They had great tournaments for the Upstate New York squad and South Atlantic squad, respectively. And so, you know, their play really stood out amongst others. Then you had the University of Northern Iowa pair on the Midwest team, Maggie Burns and Sierra Sanderson-Edwards, both players who I thought really stood out in their tournament as well. Sierra Sanderson-Edwards, one of the fastest players I've ever seen play. And Julia Norwood and Abigail Kennard, Texas teammates, Texas, the champions of that tournament on the D1 side, both amazing. I did not shout out Abigail Kennard on the show last week, but Julia Norwood really had a great tournament, and Abigail Kennard actually the tournament MVP. So my apologies to Abigail, but that rounds out your top 7 players on the D1 side.
Well done, my friend. Well done. And just in case it's not abundantly clear before you continue, Zach, tooting your own horn is absolutely accepted here on the College Rugby Wrap-Up, guys. I mean, if it's not abundantly clear already. But continue, Zach.
That's what I figured. That's good. Yeah, we should do that more, guys, all around, I think. But we will we'll work on that going forward. But on the small college side, some names that I missed: Kara Whalen from Denison University, Ohio Valley, and Ari Blosh from SUNY Brockport, 2 players who made that all-sevens team. But the one player that really stood out to me that I did make and that also made the list, Eden Liebenthal from the University of South Dakota, was really all over the place, had a great tournament. She made this list. Amanda Williams, who I tweeted out a clip of a run that she had during that tournament where I think she beat 7 out of 7 defenders on the pitch, had a great tournament herself as well. Claire Engman from Northern Michigan University and Hannah Plotkin from Shippensburg University, also solid. And Hannah Plotkin's teammate Sierra Sharkey, who had the best name of the tournament, also made the all-sevens tournament as well on the small college side.
Well, nicely done, Zach. What else we got, guys? We just got final thoughts on the show. I think we pretty much covered all we wanted to do this week. Colby, why don't we go around with you first?
Yeah, just a reminder, Iona contributes to winning. You know, experts won the PR7s in October. Watson Katonga was on that team, gave me this nice polo. Also gave me some fire Giltini shorts. Who won the MLR championship? Iona contributes to winning. Just a reminder.
Boy, he is easy to buy, isn't he? That's good. That's what we're all easy, folks. Just send us merchandise. Josh?
You know, Matt, I think I have sent you merchandise and I never see it worn on the show. So might be time for some of the stuff I've been giving you to get its moment of the show.
How dare you? First of all, this is the COVID studio. The other studio, pre-COVID, always had the battle for the mitten shirt hanging. So I'll accept your apology in the form of $100
merchandise.
And merchandise. Zach?
Yeah, just say that I am also open to be bought, very much so. I will, anything you want to send to me, I will accept and will mention on the show at all. I also tried to wear some Holy Cross gear tonight on the show, but it didn't really go with the background. So my apologies to the Crusaders. But
maybe a little envelope here and there, folks. That's all we're saying. A little envelope, nice. Doesn't have to be thick. It could be medium. Medium envelope, nice.
I'm from Jersey. I get it.
Yeah. So am I, and Colby's chosen to live there.
I've chosen to live here.
And I'm just going to add that Major League Rugby kicks off on Saturday, which is pretty exciting. And it looks like all systems to go for all clubs. And on that note, I want to thank you for your contributions, your stellar contributions. Thank you, Josh Resio. Thank you, Colby Marshall. Thank you, Zach Landing. I'm Matt McCarthy, and thank you for tuning in. Please sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please check out our other shows, including our Major League Rugby recap preview show and the Rugby Odds, where we tell you how to bet Major League Rugby. And please, please, please sign up for our Rugby Wrap-Up American Red Cross Blood Donor Team.